guys is you can hear them. They want to be good, and that's where it starts. And they want to be a good team. We have good chemistry amongst the players off the court, and we're working on developing that chemistry on the court. And chemistry is about learning what your strengths are, what your teammates' strengths are, knowing what your weaknesses are and your teammates' weaknesses are, and you focus on trying to emphasize the strengths and basically hide the weaknesses. Don't let anybody know what your weaknesses are. Don't show it to them. And I thought we did a very, very good job. Probably the most important aspect of the game tonight was our defense picked up tremendously, and the defense led to good opportunities on offense, which led to us getting to the foul line, and we cashed in at the foul line, making 80% of our free throws. That probably was the difference in the game.
Jim, you've had a lot of first games, and I mean, was there any added significance to this one being the first real one for you?
Actually, I think all games are very significant to me. I think they're very important to your team. One of the things that we shared with our players beforehand is how good Tennessee Tech is going to be this year. They're going to win 20 games or more. They're going to finish in the top 2 or 3 in their league. They're probably going to be a top 100 team. Swansea and Murphy are 2 guards that are going to be looked at as potential Player of the Year candidates in their own conference and possible NBA potential talent. So going into the game, now I have an assistant coach, Eric Conkle, who's in charge of scheduling, and the opening game was still available to us. So we had to pick an opponent that we felt would be very, very challenging so we could learn about ourselves very early on. And so we came to an agreement with Tennessee Tech. We're very happy we did. It was a very challenging game to get the season started, and it's exactly what we needed. You know, we've got a very demanding non-conference schedule, and if we do a good job in that, it prepares us then for league play.
Hey, Coach, I guess in the past, it was maybe a couple of guys who'd be the high scorers, and it's sort of different seeing so many guys touching the ball in possessions and so many different double-digit scores. Can you just talk about that philosophy of getting everyone chances and all that?
Well, I'll use this expression. We think life is all about balance. You know, you have to have good balance in your life, and it's very, very important to have balance on a basketball team. You have to have good three-point shooting. You have to have good ball handling on the perimeter. You have to be able to share the ball and get good shots inside and outside. And when you play a smaller lineup like we did for so much of the game, they're used to handling the ball. They all see themselves as guards, and so it's easy to share it. The bigger you get, the more challenging it becomes unless the big guys have guard-type skills. And so one of the reasons we went to the small lineup is so that we'd have a three-point threat at all 4 positions. And because they really pressure out on the perimeter, try to steal passes, what that does is it opens up the lanes to the basket, which Duran was able to get in there and get fouled. Malcolm was able to get in there and get fouled. And then if they come to help, throw it back outside. And I thought Ryan Brown's three-pointer was the game changer. He I think, gave us that kind of lift and shift in momentum that got our guys juiced to finish the game strong.
They went up 9 in the second half. How worried were you about the game getting away from you?
Well, what we tell the team all the time is, you know, you don't play the score, you play the game. And what that means is you basically keep playing. Anything can, you know, shift the game. We could change the defense, and all of a sudden they go cold and we get hot. So if you're constantly looking up at the score and you think because you're ahead you're in great shape, or if you're behind you're in bad shape, you're already making a mistake mentally. You got to keep playing and keep playing. And you saw it when we got ahead at the end, and then all of a sudden we took a tough 3 and then turned the ball over, and they cut the lead right back down to 2. So you got to keep playing, keep attacking both your offense and your defense. And I thought we did that for the most part.
The first 4 minutes might have been a clinic on inside passing, but then did you kind of lose that a little bit? I mean, some of those early passes, I know they're down the other end of the court, but...
No, I think that what that was is we were at home and really ready to get off to a good start. They're on the road, probably, not quite in sync to start the game. Kevin Murphy, their leading scorer, didn't even start. So it took them a while to get going, but I was concerned. We got ahead 10-0, and we were all excited. I was like, hey, the game has just started, They haven't scored a bucket. I think they're going to score tonight some, But it's very nice when you get that interior passing, and Eric Swope was the recipient of a lot of good passes.
Jim, how pleased were you with the play of your bench? They really stepped up.
Yeah, I thought our bench was terrific. In fact, I thought the crowd was very good. I was very excited to see how many students came out on a Friday night. There's so many other things going on, and yet we had, I thought, a terrific turnout of students, all in orange, cheering wildly, and that helps us. We took the team over to the freshman dormitories on Tuesday and got on the PA system and invited them to come down to the lobby and meet all the players. And I think our players thought that was kind of corny, but when the students came down in droves and was high-fiving them and shaking hands and telling them they'd come into the game, I think our players left with a great deal of enthusiasm. So it's great to have the students there. It was great to have our bench play so well. It was great to see the guys who didn't play cheer for their teammates so loudly. You think about Trey McKinney-Jones, Ryan Brown, and Raphael, what a difference they made in the game.
Jim, you might have heard this question a few times during practices or training camp or whatever, but when you've been a head coach as long as you have and had the consistent success that you had, how easy or much easier of a transition is that to get here, knowing that if you implement your system and your style and the players get it, then in all likelihood it's going to work?
Probably the biggest thing is bringing my staff with me. I've got a great group of guys. They know the system. They've worked with me for a very long time. They're extremely dedicated guys. We break down our staff into like a football staff, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams. And by having them join me, it makes the transition for me much easier because I delegate a lot of work to them. They do a great job.
What's the basketball equivalent of special teams?
Coach Caputo is in charge of all our scouting.
Scouting?
He takes the second unit and they prepare us by being the opponent. And he does an absolutely incredible job. His wealth of knowledge about the opponent, when they're going to run a back door, what play they're going to run out of a timeout. And a lot of staffs, they divide that responsibility. And so 3 coaches are all responsible for certain teams. But when Coach Caputo came on my staff 10 years ago, and he did some of the scouting reports, I just turned everything over to him because he was so thorough.
Jim, even though he's not going to play for you this year, how important is it just for morale of the guys and whatnot to have DJ around with them every day?
Well, DJ has been a major part of this program for 4 years. We want what's best for him. He wants what's best for the team. And, we will be supportive of him in every way possible.
Jim, it's just one game, but I'm just interested overall your feelings about the personnel on this club. Do they remind you of anybody you had at Mason or Bowling Green? Just give me some overall thoughts on the talent level of personnel.
It's very hard to compare teams. What I will compare is where we're starting. In each of my previous stops, we were really starting from what I would call ground level. Not because of the players, but because of introducing a whole new way of looking at the game, of trying to teach them a style, and oftentimes it takes quite a while, and obviously the quicker they learn it, the better we'll perform. But one of the very strong characteristics a staff and a team must have during the transition period is patience. You got to have that quality. Because you saw out there tonight. I mean, it would have been very easy for us to lose this game. We played a quality opponent. We're still introducing new things to our team, new hand signals, believe it or not. Oh yeah, what does that mean again? You know, you tell a kid one day, you know, the next day, you're not going to remember. He's got to do it for weeks, months.
Did we see the scramble at all today? I'm still new at this.
Yes. You saw it during a 10-minute segment. Every time you saw us trap the ball handler, one of the things we wanted to do with Zach Swansea is take the ball out of his hands. He's a very, very good passer. And so every time he used the ball screen in the last 10 minutes, we trapped him. That was part of the scramble. Now, had he passed it, we would have trapped that guy. But he didn't pass it. He keeps it himself. So we had to go after him.
Thank you, Coach.